All right, welcome to the UnNamed Cybersecurity Podcast. I'm Chris, Bob, Matt. We're all here this week.
Hey,
somehow.
Physically present.
But Bob had a little bit of a travel snafu, but he got home safe.
hey, it's just another travel event for me.
Listen, y'all, if you don't know the stories, you don't travel with Bob. Like, honest to God, you just don't fly with Bob.
Don't do what Bob does.
You're lucky if you get to your destination within 24 hours. I mean,
yeah, Bob once offered to he invited me on vacation with him. I had to turn him down because I didn't want to deal with the travel problems.
He didn't want to be grounded for an entire day while they found an exit sign to duct tape.
This is all a complete lie. It just sounds like a good idea. So,
well, I've only lost my bags for 8 hours total for any trip. So I know that's more than you had. A lot less than you had to deal with. But let's not go there.
Both of them were Delta. That's all we have to say about that. Anyway.
Actually, my bags were lost on Delta also.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Actually, the only time I had my bags lost, it was also Delta. Now that you mention it,
we are still struggling. We are still struggling with the name, but without a name, guys, would you believe that I ran into somebody while traveling who does watch our podcast, and he's an attorney, and he's looking at listening to the stuff, and we scared him. We scared him.
Once he fact checked us and believed.
So he fact checked some of the things that we've been talking about, and he goes, "Oh my God, this is really true." So the message is getting out there. People are hearing it.
I mean, we don't do this to bullshit people.
No,
people don't believe that any of this is real, and
you don't have to exaggerate a reality that's already just not good thoughts, to be honest, and it is.
Yeah, and from last week too, I got a DM from somebody that I know that they must have seen it on Facebook. I think they saw it on Facebook. It was the same deal. It was like, you just scared the shit out of me, because they don't have any controls in their business and they have access to sensitive information. People are using like other applications that they don't have control over. Mm-hmm. So they don't even know if they're putting data in there, or if they're putting stuff in there, or taking like transferred files they shouldn't. So yeah, I mean, this kind of stuff we talk about is real. So
at night, we just wanted them to suffer with us. That's why I'm so tired. Okay, not really, but it is important that you know this.
You have too many kids. That's why you're tired.
That's exactly why I'm tired. It was, I need
a
nap. You can't lie. I just need a nap.
Yeah. Well, you can nap after we're done here.
I might. Kids aren't done yet.
It's true. But covering the story that we talked about last week with the whole using of Signal, right? There's a report that goes further that also says that the staff and of a certain person used Gmail for government communications, personal Gmail accounts.
Talk about not being trackable.
Bad idea.
It's like you're using Signal and Gmail. I mean, should we just start like publishing things on I don't know, anywhere? Like, just pick a website and just start broadcasting our national security secrets on there? Because I mean, that's
actually. Can you imagine having them communicate some secure stuff about, I don't know, strikes or whatever, and then getting ads, some Google placement ads about military equipment and things?
No, it's like a job interview. It's like, hey, you want to come work at Lockheed Martin? Wait, what? But we're joking about it, but it's really serious. Like, when you use personal products, there's very little security controls around them. And like, let's say you lose access to that account. Whatever's in that account is gone. Somebody could gain access to it, and like, if they were able to reset your password and steal it or whatever. And I've seen this in business. I've dealt with a certain type of healthcare organization that allowed people to use personal emails like Gmail. They basically came in and said, "Oh, just sign up for a Gmail. It's free."
It's free.
And then people leave and take the email with them, and they're like, "Well, now what?" I'm like, and they had customer communications over it, and I'm like, "You shouldn't do that."
Well, and it's pretty slick for being free, but it's free because it's designed for
personal use.
Yeah, there's no control over that data whatsoever beyond the person that owns that account. Well, even that's pretty limited, to be honest.
Also, do you trust the security the security protocols around personal email versus the business email?
Absolutely freaking hell no.
Like,
Well, you also, in that same sense, you also get the people easily spinning up lookalike emails that are, just an L or an I away from the real one.
Mm-hmm.
that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're not trying to dunk on like the idea here isn't to be political about it. It's just to be open about like what the dangers of this stuff is, right? So, I mean, I don't know what to say about it. Like somebody needs to be, I don't want to say punished, but there needs to be some sort of accountability held to people, especially in certain situations where sensitive data is being talked about, transferred. There needs to be accountability for it.
Well, yeah, and it's funny you mentioned that because how many smaller medical practices and things like that have had breaches have been fined. I'm really hoping these folks don't just get a slap on the wrist because they're politicians and connected and things like that. I mean, they are protecting data that's more important than what most of us have access to already, and we're on the line for fines, right?
And the consequences of that getting in the wrong hands is enormous.
Huge. That's scary.
We deal a lot with like small and medium businesses, so even their data getting in the hands of somebody else is there's consequences to that. But like I can't believe in national security secrets, or like when you get up to like NPD when they had their data breach where because they were data broker and they lost 3.7 billion records or whatever. Like the consequences of that, and then they just go out of business. And then reading their legal filings was hilarious. They're like, oh well, we don't really have any money, and like 48 AGs, attorney generals, were suing them. So the consequences are real. There needs to be accountability. That starts at the top. The person at the top needs to take accountability for it. And that doesn't mean whether if it's in business, politics, sports, whatever. The person at the top needs to take accountability. But on that note, Bob also has learned that there are not Bob specifically. Sorry, I should rephrase that. Bob just was talking to somebody that's had consequences from something else.
Yeah, we had somebody call up and say we had a little cyber issue, a ransom issue a couple weeks ago. I'm like, weeks ago? What are you talking about? And
that's community and breach time frame.
What is that noise?
So I am gonna go take the bone from the dog, which is stuck under the printer stand.
Anyway,
we're gonna have to mute Matt. There you go. There you go.
All right. Well, we did get a call from somebody that had a ransom event, and all their files, all their financial data, all got encrypted for Monday morning when they came into the office. So, they contacted their IT guy, who promptly restored everything.
But wait, there's more?
Oh, wait, there's more. They promptly restored everything, said, we're good to go. Took 2 days to restore all that data and back it down, get it there. And luckily, it worked. And then a ransom note appeared again. Except this one wasn't. This was just contact from a ransomware group that said, we have your data. Pay here, pay now, or we are going to release that data. And it was interesting that management wasn't really concerned about the breach issue until that happened.
Mm-hmm.
So let's break this down. They have a ransom event. So when anybody listening to this right now, if you have a ransom event, you don't just want to restore. There should be like an incident response plan, incident response policy that you go through, because if you break it down really quickly, they restored, but what if they didn't fix the way that the criminals got in the first place?
And that's
which doesn't sound like it did.
That's what I was talking to him about on the call, because they restored Friday's backup. It was it was Monday. They noticed it was down, so they restored their Friday backup. Guaranteed, the bad guys are still in there. So this might just be a repeat event for this weekend. Who knows?
Well, and we know the threat actor, right?
We know exactly who it is. Yes.
Okay, so, and this threat actor, we'll leave the name off of it right now. But one of the ways that they get in is through remote desktop being available, so which may or may not be the case here. We don't know. VPN. So
They have VPNs here with.
Oh.
They have VPNs here, and they do use one of the known vendors that we've seen recently that had issues.
So I'm guessing I have 3 names. You don't have to say which one. Fortinet, Juniper, and SonicWall.
Palo too. Palo's.
Oh, that's right. Sorry,
it was definitely one of the top 4 ones there, and so their IT company, their MSP, only takes care of the server and the firewall apparently. And when they reviewed the VPN accounts on the firewall, there were some extra ones. The message from the IT provider was, "Oh, those are just old ones we never deleted."
Wait, hold on a second. I haven't been doing my job.
I want to scream.
But don't worry, it's fine.
Yeah, let me just leave that back door open for you.
Yeah. So let's talk about the restore part. They restored. We don't know. So they destroyed evidence, right? So like, there's no way to really go back probably and figure out how they got in. Maybe.
Well, that was actually one of the good things that they did do is they pulled all the drives from the server. So there is a stack of drives there that has all the evidence as when it was encrypted. So,
but you lost memory and we
lost memory. Yeah, okay. Definitely.
So, well, one of the things, so for this particular threat actor that you're talking about, one of the things they do though is they do delete event logs as part of their operation.
The tracks, yeah.
Right. So
unless there's Steam or something in place, like copying those logs elsewhere.
Exactly. Unless those were taken offline, they may or may not be useful. Their big thing is either phishing emails or VPN or remote desktop. So we probably can guess which one it was. It's probably phishing or VPN, right? Because you said that is it. One of the things they bring is they bring something called Bring Your Own Vulnerable Driver. It's called BYOVD.
Okay.
And there's 2 things you can do with that. You can, well, there's more than a couple things you can do with that, but 2 of the main ones are, so you can clear the event logs. You can elevate privileges. And another one is they can use that to actually turn off your security software. So like Windows Defender, if you have an EDR, endpoint detection response, a lot of times they can kill those and they can run that stuff. So these guys are pretty sophisticated from what they do. And the fact that they restored and got that later probably means what you said is they're probably still in there, which sounds terrifying.
I mean, hypothetically, maybe they got in through one of those old VPN accounts.
Yeah.
But I mean, we all knew they moved laterally, right? So they probably made an account on a machine or a server or whatever. So guess what that restore contained? The hacker and his access to.
Sure. Maybe. Absolutely. These guys spend a lot of money and time to get into these environments. So 100%. Once they're in, we're going to set up multiple ways back in.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and they said they're able to extract the data. Do you have an idea at all about how much data that was?
I don't.
Okay. So, but they were still able to extract all that data. Nobody noticed it, right? Nobody noticed that the data was being exfiltrated, so taken away. They hit him with encryption, and they hit him with a ransom note. How did they get the ransom note a couple days later after restoring? Did they get it on like a computer or emailed?
Oh, through the support contact on the website.
Mm.
Oh, yes. Oh, they're doing. Oh, that's awesome. Not really. I'm not cheering for these people, but like that's kind of wow.
Yeah, they filed. They went to this. They basically opened up a support email there and said we have. We are the group that has your data, and it kind of confirmed. Kind of confirmed because they didn't make it public that their files were ransomed the week before, right. And they were down for 2 days, so they've already lost 2 days of work.
Well, I don't want to give anybody ideas, but like, could you imagine if you're just on LinkedIn one day and you just get mentioned, and it's like a bunch of other people and companies and stuff like that, and it's all your competitors. They mention all your competitors and you and say, we have your files on LinkedIn, like something like that. Could you imagine the fallout? And I shouldn't give people ideas. It's probably not a good idea to do that. But like,
it's already been done, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, if it hasn't, hey guys. So I think the thing we want to kind of wrap this up a little bit is they didn't have an incident response plan. They didn't know what to do other than just their incident response is called their IT guy, who did something he probably shouldn't have done. They should have brought an incident response company in because there's no cyber insurance, right? Okay. So they should have engaged an incident response company to come in, figure out how they got in, how they got breached, figure out how to get rid of that, and then went for the restore part.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But they didn't do that, and now they're in this situation. So hopefully, however they got in is patched. Hopefully. But we've seen it before where people didn't pay and they got hit again.
Yeah, well, I actually saw a copy of the ransom note, and it was actually pretty nice. And at the end, it said, when you pay us, we'll give you the decryption key, and we'll even tell you how we got in so you can fix it.
Their customer service can be better than actual IT support sometimes.
How much was a ransom? Do we know?
100 Bitcoin.
Ooh. What's Bitcoin right now?
8 million?
Wow.
Well, the longer you wait with what's going on right now, it might be less.
Yeah, I was thinking they were 40,000, 80,000. I'm way off.
What are they right now? Ooh.
$81,885 per Bitcoin today.
Well, chump change, right, guys?
Mm-hmm. Totally.
So
yeah, I'm sure most businesses have that laying around.
Oh yeah,
this is not a huge company.
In landfills.
It's a 50-person company.
Okay.
That's 50 people they might not make payroll for if they don't fix it.
Well, so they asked for $8 million. They know they have it. Like if they're asking for that much money, they know they have a way to get it. They'd have to know, right? Like, because you're not asking $8 million if you don't know what they have. And obviously, you can always negotiate these things if you get.
And that was the thing when they
on
the email that came out was, it's 100 Bitcoin. Contact us, we can negotiate.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, we should negotiate engagement. Come on, guys. Comment more. Let us know what you want us to talk about. We're here to be unfiltered. Well,
tell us a crazy story you heard about, and we'll find out.
Yeah, tell us a crazy story. If you know somebody that's been hit with some sort of cyber attack, don't give us the company, please. Give us some details. We'll talk about it. We can break it down. We can kind of show you like maybe where we would make different decisions and maybe what tactics you could use and things like that. But engage with us. Maybe one day we'll be publishing this in a more professional manner and publishing it via Apple, Spotify, YouTube now because it's YouTube Music, so it's not Google Podcasts anymore. Where all your favorite podcasts are posted.
We're probably going to need a name before they type in.
I have some ideas, but please give us more ideas, guys. We want the ideas. So on that note.
So anyway, guys, if you're listening to this podcast, if you've made it this far, and you know of somebody that's had an issue, reach out to any one of us. We'd love to talk to them, talk to you. We're really here to help people out and keep things moving forward because at the end of the day, we need to keep everybody safe.
Yeah, and we want to empower you to make better decisions. That's our goal.
Like I said, confused. There you are. I'm reversed. It's confusing.
All right.
Later.
But have a good rest of your week, guys. We'll talk to you soon.